Yo, what is up, Yugi fam? Hope everybody is having a great day today. So, I got back from locals not too long ago and went undefeated with Evil Twins. First time taking Evil Twins to a tournament, first time playing it in real life since I just picked up the core recently. And it was so much fun to play, and I had some pretty tough matchups today. We typically have a very we typically have very competitive players that go to our locals, just players that want to be just as competitive as possible when it comes to playing the game. So they're playing very relevant decks, whether it's meta relevant, whether they're rogue decks that can compete at a meta level. So it was definitely a great experience to play this deck against some of the more viable decks in today's meta. So round one, it was against Orcus Mech Knight. That was probably the only non-meta deck I didn't go against, but it was still a pretty good deck. I actually got that 2-1, so I lost round one because he was playing a heavy trap lineup, so like Torrential, Solemn Strike. So playing through like multiple traps like that is pretty tough. So I lost game one, and then I got games two and three. And round two, I went up against Flunder. First time playing against Flunder in real life, so that was also a very good experience. I want to playtest more against that deck just so I can just have more experience, especially with this deck versus Flunder. And honestly, just more experience against Flunder overall, because that is one of the top decks, I believe. It's just like a really scary deck once it gets going, and Shifter is an absolutely devastating card. But I got the first Flunder matchup, I got 2-0. I got it 2-0. And the third round matchup was against another Flunder player, and I got that 2-1. And then the last round was against Sword Soul. So this was the last round, the fourth round and the last round, and that was against Sword Soul. And I got that 2-0. Yeah, so we went undefeated, and I'm excited to share this list with you guys, share the changes. I know it's only been like 4 or 5 days since I uploaded the last live twin or evil twin profile, and but again, I just wanted to share the list since I did take it to a tournament today, and I went undefeated. I thought that was it's worth like showing you guys an updated list. So for the live twins, we have obviously 3 Leela, and then 3 Kiss to Kill. Obviously, you want to max out on these because you want to see them as often as possible. They are your 1-card starters. And then you have 2 Frost, and you have 1 Treat. 2 Frost. I think Frost is like really strong. You want to have Frost set up in your graveyard turn 0. So that way, if your opponent does any searching, you can just banish this and then draw a card. Which is awesome. Even like if they desires, you can like banish this to draw a card. Because it's adding cards by a card effect. So it's really, really good. Treat. It came up once today where I banished it and then targeted a monster and they lost like the attack, but they just ended up crashing anyway. It wasn't like really high impact or anything like that. It just serves as the extender. But 2 Frost, especially since I'm playing Desires in the build, so I think you want to have access to 2. So for the hand traps, I played 3 Ash, 2 Veiler, 1 Nib, 1 Ghost Spell, and then 3 Imperm. So I wanted to play the 1 Nib and the 1 Ghost Spell for the crossout targets. Ghost Spell, I'm not sure how like relevant this card is, honestly. Like I do see some people playing it, but I think most people are not playing this card because this card's not good against it's not good against Flunder, and it's not good against Sword Soul. So like, I mean, it's okay against Dragon Link, and it's like really high impact against Drytron. But like Drytron is basically the only matchup where it's like high impact, and like it and against say Lyrilusk Tri-Brigade, you could hit the yellow one, the one that summons from the grave, but that's not really good enough. I feel like I might cut this card. I mean, it's in here because of the crossout, because if you get Ghost Spelled, it hurts, but I don't know, man. I really don't know if it just... I mean, like, I think I'm going to keep it in the deck for now. It didn't come up today at all. Nibiru didn't come up today. I mean, I didn't draw it, and it was basically, again, just for the crossout target. I had crossouts, but I would call like Ash, Veiler, just so my place can go through Imperm. But yeah, for now, I'll probably keep this. I might like change it in the future, but for now, I think I'll keep it the same. We have, for the other one-card starters, our consistency cards, our extenders. We have 3 secret password cards. Awesome. Searches any Evil Twin spell or trap. And you're mainly going to be searching for Sunny Snitch or the Home, which I did up to 2. So in the last list, I was playing 1. I think this card is absolutely, like, so, it's really, really strong, especially when you're trying to play through interruptions, like against the Sword Soul, player. So he had the trap set. So once I had 2 Evil Twins, he just activated the trap and popped 2. And then luckily I had secret password, so I just searched for the Home, and then I was just able to summon. So I started with Leela, so I just summoned Kissakill, and I still was able to resolve Kissakill's effect to summon from deck because I controlled no other monsters at that point. So yeah, Home is awesome. Like Home, I think Home is the... I cut the trap, by the way, so I cut Challenge. Because Home is just so much, it's much more superior because it allows me to continue playing that turn. Whereas Challenge is like, I'd have to like set it and not really, I don't think I'd gain too much value off that card. I think Home is just the better card. So that's why I upped it to 2. And now for the other spells, we have 3 Tactics. So Tactics was so good today because... I would get hand trapped, and I would just look at their hand to rip another hand trap. So I would have like say I normal summoned Kissakill or Leela, and they hand trap me. I would just activate talents. Like if I had the extenders, I would activate talents and just look at their hand. So it was just so good. Like against the Sword Soul matchup, he ashed and I ripped Imperm out of his hand, and plus I got to see like his entire hand, so I knew what to expect. And I only had like 1 unknown because he top decked a card obviously during his turn. And during the Flunder matchup, he hand trapped me, and I had the extender, so I just looked at his hand and I just ripped his only starter, which was amazing. That's what really gave me that game. So I think this card's really good. I mostly used it to hand rip today just because like I always had like the extender. I don't think I drew. I think I did. I drew once today using this card, but I'm not sure if it was like too impactful. 3 Desires. This is also an amazingly good card because this card would be amazing Ash bait. Like if I would draw a starter or if I would draw like secret password, I would just Desires first, and then if they asked, I would just resolve password and just get into my engine. And if they didn't have the ask, then I would just get 2 free cards, and it was just so good. Like, I resolved Desires today multiple times, and I never once... I think that was actually... No, I take it back. The first game against Orchist, I Desired, and then... But because he had Torrential Strike, he stopped all my cards, so I ran out of gas in my main deck. It didn't matter at that point. I mean, he had game regardless, but... Otherwise, this card's amazing. Amazing in the deck. I highly recommend anybody who hasn't tested this to test it out, just because it's just a great consistency card for the deck. 2 Droplets. This card was also very, very powerful in today's tournament. I just shut off so much with this card, and it's nice that it's you just get free fodder for this card because of like Sunny Snitch. It's a continuous that just stays on the field, and then obviously this card's infamous for being very strong with like your life twins, because you get them off the field and then you're able to resolve the other version or whatever to be able to summon from the deck because of this card, and then in the process negate a monster effect. For the other spells, we have 2 Crossout, and then the last spell we have is Called By. 2 Crossout was really good today. I think 2 is fine. I don't think a third... I mean, a third didn't really come up. I had, like, Tactics. I didn't draw Called By today. But obviously I'd keep it in for the Ash Blossoms, for the Veilers. So I'd still keep that card in just because those cards are seeing more play because of Flunder, especially Valor. So yeah, for the traps, we have 3 strike, and then I decided to main an IO. I figured like IO was just too good not to play in the deck because you can easily remove this off the field, because when you summon your evil twin, Leela, she can pop this, and then you can also send this with Trouble Sunny, because Trouble Sunny says that you can send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. So if you need to remove this card, if you need to remove IO because you have like a bunch of spells that you want to activate during your turn, you can just IO during their turn and then stun them, and then during your turn just remove this off the field and then just continue to play. Psalm Strike, awesome high impact card. It did very good today. It wasn't like I didn't see it as much as I'd like to see it, but I did see it a couple of games going second, and it definitely performed very well. For the extra deck, we have 3 Kissakill, Evil Twin Kissakill. We have 2 Leela. So I find myself like burning through more copies of this than this. And here, the reason being is that when you're going first, you're gonna summon this first, right? To be able to get the draw later on in your turn. But then I found that like later on in the duels, right? In the duel, I'd need to get into this specifically to revive this back to pop a card. That way I can like start removing cards off my opponent's board. So like if I were like later on, I'd want access to more Kissakill so I could revive back the Leelas and then get those pops, as opposed to like needing more copies of this to revive this and then get a draw. But I might be upping this to 3 regardless, and you'll see. I'll let you guys know why in a sec. So 3 Trouble Sunny. Before, I think in the previous video, I mentioned that you might be able to get away with 2. I take that back. This card is a mandatory 3 of. Yeah, this card is like it's way too valuable in the extra deck to be able to run at any. Like you can't run less than 3, because when you're applying so much pressure on your opponent, you're banishing, sending, and then reviving something back, and then going into a Trouble Sunny, attack, and then tribute, attack, and then you find yourself burning through 3. Sometimes I had to stop myself from carelessly burning through multiple copies. Like sometimes I know. So during a couple of games, I would attack, and I wouldn't choose to tag out, because if I would tag out, that means I would have to go into my 3rd one like way too early. So I would just, I wouldn't like go for the 5,500 damage the first chance that I got, because I figured that if I just did enough damage with 1 Trouble Sunny, I'd be able to like go for game the following turn. So yeah, definitely resource management is huge in this deck. You want to be able to outgrind your opponent, and you want to do it correctly. But you want to have access to 3 copies for sure. So these are the cards that I went into like how many games did I play today? I 2-0'd in 2 of the matches, and we went to games. So I played 10 games today, right? 10 duels. And like 10 duels, these cards always made it on the board. And in all 4 rounds today, I did not make this. I did not make this. I did not make this. And I did not make this. I did not make this. And I didn't make this. Okay. So these are, if you haven't noticed, these are 14 cards so far. So the last card I'm going to show you this. The last card is the change that I made. But basically, the idea, right, is to go, if you have like any starter and an extender, you could go into the Devotee Disciple combo, where you would end with IP plus you'd end with Kissakill. So you get the pop, and then IP, you'd be able to like IP into Unicorn. But here's the thing, the way you play this deck is, you can't be reckless. Okay, so I think that's a reckless play, because you're burning through your extender, and just so you can get, like, you're basically getting greedy if you go for this play. This is just my opinion, by the way, just from my first experience. If you go for this play, right, it's nice that you can like tribute and then fix your hand kind of, and then end with IP in addition to the pop. But the issue with that is, again, you burn through your extender. So say, for example, I think this would be better if I explained it this way, right? So say you opened this, right? And you opened this, okay? Or not this, actually, say you open password. Password is actually the better example. Because this happened all the time. So this is what happens, right? I would have this right here can get you to this combo where you can go Link Disciple, Tribute, summon IP, fix your hand, and then you'll end with like, so your end board would be this plus Kissikel. All right, and that way you have the pop. You'd be able to revive Leela, and then after you revive Leela, you could either go like Underworld Goddess, you could go Unicorn. But the issue with that is this loses so hard to Nibiru. Like, it loses so bad to Nibiru because, okay, you normal summon this, activate the effect, it goes through, and then you're like, oh, okay, it went through. So secret password, search for my extender, summon the extender, and then go into this play, and then you get nibbed, and then you lose, right? You lose. So I never did that. What I would typically do is, the way I would use this, okay, is I would go normal summon, effect, and then if this would go through, I'd be like, okay, great, it went through, so I can just summon Frost directly from the deck, and then do my whole combo and just get my draw and end with Trouble Sunny plus potential hand traps and traps. And then if I summon this, right? If I summon this, and like say it gets nibbed, right? So say they nib, then I can go password and search for the home. And then what home allows me to do, right? What home allows me to do is I can home, pitch a card. I can summon any evil twin, and typically what you're going to be summoning is you're going to summon a Kissikel monster. So you're going to summon the pink, and then go into another copy of this. That way, during your opponent's turn through the Nibiru, you'd be able to summon Leela for the pop. All right, so this is through a Nibiru, right? You'll be able to at least have your engine going. So this is your engine still online through the Nibiru, okay? And that's super important. You want to play it that way. You want to play conservatively until you have to extend, absolutely. So that's the reason that this didn't really come up today. It's because I just chose not to go into it because it was a careless play. Going into this is just way too careless. And I just value just playing a bit more conservatively and being able to end on something rather than end on nothing. So that's the reason that I didn't go into these cards. And I think I might just cut this engine in the future and try out the Zeus engine. I just don't have the Sky Cavill, whatever it's called. I want to see some what my options are for the extra deck before I decide. And then the last card in the extra deck is, this is the card that I added in. I took out Abomination and I added in the transcode. And the reason that you add in transcode in this deck is to be able to OTK very, very easily. So say the idea here, and this is what happened today. This is like how I OTK'd, right? So you'd go Trouble Sunny during the opponent's turn, and then say like you interrupt them, whatever. You tag out into these two, draw, pop. And then during your turn, you'd normal summon anything. Like it could be another Kissikel, it could be a hand trap like Ghost Bell, like Veiler. So basically, you'd normal summon Veiler, you'd go into the transcode, and then you'd use the effect, revive, pop, and then here you'd go into a Trouble Sunny, and that way, now it's co-linked. So this is 2800, Trouble Sunny's 3800. So you attack for 2838, and then tag out into these two, draw a card, and then attack for a game very, very easily because you played this card. So that's the reasoning behind this. You actually don't use the effect to revive anything back. It's just the attack boost and just the extra damage. And plus in this deck, it's actually like, it's nice to get these off field. So say like you do normal summon Veiler and you get this off field to link it to a link 3, you just revive it back. So you lose no value whatsoever. It might seem a little awkward, but it comes up. So that is it for the extra deck, guys, and the main deck. So I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. As always, please, if you guys do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and liking the video. That would be much, much appreciated. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Would appreciate all your feedback. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Take care and peace.